Hi, and welcome to Season 2 of Big Sound Small Town, the podcast that spotlights the talented and diverse musicians in small towns and communities. This season we're branching out to include the community of people who make it possible for musicians to be able to perform their music, the producers, the recording engineers, the venue owners, and many others, and as always, the small town musicians. Remember, small town doesn't mean small talent. Hear their stories. All right. Today we're at the Earl Scruggs Center, and I'm with my guest. You're good at introducing yourself. Just go ahead and do it. I'm going to let you guys talk today.
Hi, I'm Walter Finley.
Hi, I'm April Dawn.
So together we're Walter and April Dawn.
See, usually I do that myself, but they've been really good at everything they've done today, so we're letting them take the whole show today.
Oh, come on.
Because they're a really entertaining group of people, a pair of people. But I need the start of this whole journey with both of you guys. I mean, how did you get to where you are today?
I couldn't do anything else. Nothing else worked for me.
Did you know early in your life music was going to be what you were going to do?
Wow. I have been immersed in music my entire life, I guess, Mm-hmm. There was music kind of in the family, my father's side, my mother's side, but I know they tried all kinds of different instruments on me. I can remember.
Yeah, I do know that.
I do remember my dad sitting me down. He came from a classical side of the family. His parents were like opera stars in Philadelphia when he grew up, and I can remember him sitting me in these sitting chairs with a lamp where he would read his books. And I remember him as a small boy calling me in and saying, "Son, sit right here." And I goes, "I want you to listen to something." And he would be playing. He was playing me classical music, and he was loving it. He was, he was just soaking it. He goes, "Do you hear that? Do you hear that?" And he goes, and the outcome was I ended up playing violin.
Oh yeah.
So he sent me to school, and I used to be a little embarrassed because in the neighborhood I grew up with, I didn't want to be seen with a violin walking home from school.
Same way. That's my story too. I learned it. However, I came from a family of Irish fiddlers. Irish fiddlers are everything Irish that you can think of. They drank, they fought, and they fiddled. And they were scary to me, so I learned the songs. Whether I wanted to or not, it's one of those things. That, so.
One thing, I do have some nice memories of. From there, I went on to, I played cello for a while, and I loved that. And then went back to the violin and viola. But by 7th grade, junior high school, I was in the orchestra, but I remember breaking a string on the violin, and by then I was already playing the guitar.
Right.
And I would just show up every day with the violin with 3 strings on it. And the conductor's like, you got to put a string on this. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. I just wouldn't do it. She goes, if you're not going to put the string on, you don't need to be here. And that was the end of the violin. And now that I love fiddle so much, I wish I would have stayed with it, but I didn't know fiddle back then.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have it where I was. I didn't really listen to it or know about it.
Right.
But, by 7th grade, I was playing the guitar, and I was playing, Southern rock. And I'd be in the back of fields, there'd be a fire, and I'd be playing the guitar, and all my friends would be singing along. And I literally have this memory of walking down the street one day going, if I put the same amount of time into writing my own songs as I do to learning everybody else's songs, I thought I would have some really good songs.
Yeah.
And so I would just make up my own songs for years and years. And I guess I had a fantasy in my mind that I just loved it. I loved guitar. I remember loving Leonard Skinner like there was no tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I was devastated when the plane went down. I can remember that like it was yesterday. And then in high school, that's what I did. But I didn't take this educated approach to guitar or music. I just played what I felt and wanted. And I didn't know anything about music when it came to guitar. I actually wrote my own charts and made up my own chords. Huh. And I wish I could find them, but I don't know why. I had a chord. I think E was O, and I would trot out the O chord, the U chord. And this is how I that's how I was. And then in my senior year, I switched high schools, and I went to a Northport High, and they had this great music department. You'd walk in the room, there were just guitars hanging everywhere, and some great guitar players came out of that school, and I got to know them, and it was a lot of fun. But after high school, I went to work. I got
sure that's what you have to do. I mean,
working in the mall. I was pumping gas overnight. I was working in restaurants and just dreaming about music. That's all. I just talked about it and dreamed about it. Then I became a carpenter a few years later after that, and I loved that, building and working with my hands. But there's one moment came, I'll never forget this. And I learned how to be a good carpenter. I was working with some really good guys, some German guys, father-son team. I could see it clearly. I was in the front of a house. We were framing out windows that we just put in, and we redid the whole facade. We did the brickwork, everything. And a song came on the radio, and I'm listening to it, and the music just talks to me, and the language, I don't know, it just moves me. Mm-hmm. And I could tell you what song it was. It was a Fleetwood Mac song. What song? Let me see. Because we're in an interview, I can't think straight now. But oh yeah, something like that. Take my love, take it down. Snow covered. Landslide. So it's called Landslide. So I'm listening to this song and I'm working, and it was just so sunny out, and I had to be, I don't know how far from home. I would say 7 miles from my house. And I just remember I had enough. I took my tool belt off and I left it there and I walked away. I walked home, picked up the phone and called a music school and said, I want to go to school for music.
Huh.
And I was 24 years old when I did that.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
And I went to college at 25. And the kids would be like, hey, Grandpa.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I went to music school, really not knowing what I was doing. And,
right. But you knew chords weren't O anymore, right?
Right. And the funny thing is, I was playing songs, writing songs with E major sevens and line cliches. I never knew what I was doing. And when you go to school and you start learning, it's so I was somehow I was infused with this jazz kind of chords. I would just build chords, look for the tones and match the tones. And yeah, so college was quite a journey. It was more like a rock and roll high school for me.
That's cool.
You would.
Yeah.
And the one thing I learned, I reflect on things, is when people used to say, hey, wow, you're really good, and I never knew how to react to that. I was like, oh, yeah, all right, thanks. I had to learn how to smile,
right,
say thank you,
yeah,
be gracious. And it helped with writing, learned how to...
It's funny that you say that because, at first I thought from watching your stuff, I was thinking, man, he just plays, but yeah, you're way more entertaining than what I thought as a person that you would be. And I see what you were saying, that I think you were all about your music, and then finally at some point you could think, I got to be a person too, right?
After all these years, I'm learning. It's like, I guess we'd rather watch somebody smiling than somebody with a puss on their face.
And that's one of those things. It just kicked into me and dawned on me right now is that, what he's saying is true, so focused on music, you probably missed that part, didn't you?
Yeah, I never thought about that at all. I just wanted to get things. I heard something in my mind, and I wanted to.
That's actually really cool, though.
Yeah, and I wish I was more of a student and educated, because I can just rationalize things much easier if I use more of my logic brain than my artist brain.
Yeah. But it works.
But I think my music. Now, during those days of being a carpenter and a salesperson and this and that, there was things going on in my life, which, I don't really feel like reliving, but they were hard on me. And I had a really hard time in life emotionally. And I spent a lot of time alone. When I was younger, I spent a lot of time alone because I was sick a lot, and I couldn't go out and play with all the other kids. And I stayed home and listened to music and played my guitar.
Yeah.
And then something happened where I had to move and go to another school, and I didn't know anybody. And I would spend 7 hours a day in a basement just playing my guitar, and that's what I did. But what would happen was, and it took me a long time to realize, I didn't realize what I was doing, but when I was writing, I was taking what was inside of me and bringing it out, and I was able to see what was going on in my songs. And that's basically what songwriting is to me. It's very revealing. And even I might write something that seems so generic and so like, oh, it's such a happy song, but there's in there is a home run of what's going on inside my heart, inside my
write
mind.
What you know. Well, if you write long, you write what you know.
Right. And a lot of times I would write love songs and people are like, who did you write that for? I'm like, it was for nobody. And I think it was what I wanted in my life.
I think it is. I understand that too. I've done those. You're the first person that's really vocalized that, who is it for? Well, it's, you don't know but you're right. It's probably what you were wanting or what you were looking for. So
hindsight's 50-50.
It is, but you don't realize that at the time. So
I found out because I went to therapy.
Yeah, well, that helps too, yes.
I went to a therapist, and I met him, and he goes, look, man, just look at me like a big brother with all the right answers. Next week, bring a guitar. I'm like, bring my guitar? I need help with my head. So I bring the guitar, and he goes, can I see the guitar? Can I play a little? Can I see your guitar? And this is how the session's going, right? And I take it out. Oh, what a nice guitar. He goes, can you play me a song that you wrote? I said, sure. So I played him a song I wrote. Because that was amazing. I thank you. Can you play me another one? I was like, yeah, okay. And meanwhile, the clock's ticking, and I'm paying, and I'm like, I'm entertaining this guy, and I'm paying him to entertain him. This is what's going on in my mind. And and I play a second song. He goes, oh my God, that was fantastic. He goes, can you just play me one more? Now I'm like, what am I going to get out of this? So I play him the third song, and I play the song, and he does the same thing again. And he goes, that was amazing. He goes, do me a favor, can you put the guitar away? I'm like, yeah, okay. And I put it away. And he leans off his chair towards me, and he goes, that guitar saved your freaking life.
Let's see.
And that's what he said to me. I go, what do you mean? He goes, because you were able to take what was inside and bring it out so you could see what's going on in your life. He goes, you know how many people can't do that?
True.
And that was worth the whole thing, to realize what's going on. But that's also the problem, because when I try to write a song, it's like I'm trying to get a message out. And a lot of times when you write with other people, they just want to make a pop song to sound like, no, but where are we going to talk about, we're drinking whiskey and we're riding our horses and we're driving our trucks. And I'm like, well, there's more to life than that. Right. And there's people out there that need answers. Mm-hmm. And we need identification and we need an answer. And I try to put some kind of antidote into songs, And my songs, I think, are going to get a little heavier now. And to the core of life. And, I need to do that just for my own satisfaction. And if you're going to put something out there, it better mean something. Right. That's how I feel about it.
But that was one of the main things, too, with if you fast forward to after we met and we started hanging out and we saw what we had in common, going down to work with Billy Hume, the fishing song is While the Sun Still Shines. Right. It's about making good memories on purpose, because when you're young, you're fearless. You want to get out there and you want to ride that motorcycle and that dirt bike, and you want to do everything everybody else is doing so you can fit in with the in crowd or whatever. But I went through that. But what really means something in life is what you leave behind. It's not what you take with you.
No.
So if you can teach someone something that's going to save their life, or if you can bleed onto paper and give it to someone to touch them in a way that will save their life, or give them a good memory that they can pass down, then that's why we're here. There's a bigger purpose for all of us. And it's not just about, oh, this is me and this is my story. It's about how we can be human together and how we can be successful together and how we can function together.
That's one of the beauties of having you in my life, and one of the problems I encountered, because I went through a time in life where I had to lose my ego or die. Right? Mm-hmm. When you grow up, when you start learning that life is not about you or the person, but it's about others, and learning that we're all have this commonality, that we're all in this thing together for real. I mean, I spent 20 years just studying stuff on spirituality and then you go and you're involved in an ego-driven business. Yes, you really are. And if you don't sit there and blow your own horn, which I had to not do anymore, it's like they say you have to do it, Walter. You have to. I don't want to. Well, guess what? April can talk about me.
Exactly. You got somebody.
And I can talk about
it.
April. Exactly. And now I'm not blowing my own horn, and
it's a pretty good combination.
April's been an amazing godsend to me. And and I took a chance. I jumped out on a road in a town where I knew nobody. Absolutely nobody. I was all alone, and I found a place I really liked, and I just stood out the window one day and I said, I want to share my life with somebody. And I went looking for somebody, and she was one of the candidates. and
when I first met him, I was like, no.
And it has not been easy. I mean, we're adults. We're not kids.
Tell them the story about.
It's not like we can just we have habits, that we have ways of living that are completely different.
Totally different, because I'm from down here.
Well, we figured that out. And we from different accents, the words mean different things. It's just been a real challenge.
I'm sure it has.
However, April has had the tenacity to keep helping me despite my own self. She
I've noticed that pretty hard.
Going at it, and for me to be able to write in a room with somebody else, living in my space, it's really hard. Because I always isolated. I wrote out of isolation.
Sure.
So the beautiful thing is, number one, I moved down south to try to be immersed in the country way of living. Right. I didn't want to just learn DCG and riffs and play country music. My heart was longing for this way of life. And so to play in a place and imagine just guitars all around, dobro, banjo, guitar, and what have you, and doing my own thing in one room and just hearing some picking coming out of the living room and peeking behind the door and watching her just picking and singing so beautifully, and it's like, wow. And going back in the room and not interrupting. And because she won't do it in front of people. And what's happening is she so subtly would suggest, you might want to try to play this song. And because I wanted to impress her so much, I'm like, watch this. Oh, yeah, I learned it last night, babe. Check it out. And then I grew this nice style of country songs to play on my sets.
Right.
And the other thing was, when we met April, it was about dating. It was not about music. I knew she played, but that wasn't my interest, because she would say, maybe we could be friends and play guitar together. I go, I don't want that. I'm looking for a girlfriend.
Right.
And I had to go to Georgia to Billy's Hume's house to record this record. And I said, I got to go to Georgia for the weekend and I'll be back. She goes, can I come with you? I'll take pictures. I'll stay out of the way, I promise. And she started coming with me and she took pictures. And after a few weekends, I was, Billy was working me. I was like, play this riff over and over and over and over and over and over again, sing this line over. And I had to get up and get some air. And as I'm walking out of the studio, Billy goes, April, get in that room. I want to see what you can do.
I couldn't breathe.
And he had her sing the harmonies. But by the time I got home, I'll never forget, I got home. I'm sitting there on my couch in the living room. The phone rings and Billy Hume called. And he's like, I'm calling you because I want to tell you something. He goes, I work with a lot of people, and they bring their own singers, and some of them, they're impossible to mix. Not that they're bad singers, it's just trying to mix the tones. Billy's really about frequencies and tones. Sure. And he goes, April has the most perfect voice for your voice. I just wanted you to know that. And I was like, wow. And then we go to a gig, and she would come and just sit there, and one day she stood up and sang every harmony note to every song and got every inflection of my voice. Perfect. The next gig, there was 2 microphones set up. And we've been singing together ever since. She is just such an amazing harmony singer. So I had mentioned earlier how my music basically came from pain and loneliness, and that's what April has a similar story, and she was raised with bluegrass gospel parents. Mom was a picker and daddy was a fiddler, and her brother was a great guitar player and very well known.
Right.
And she was taught to back him up so he could learn how to be the great guitar player. So she had to play rhythm guitar and sing harmonies. So she's been doing it her whole life.
It's a great education.
And if you think about it, when I took off, after the guys that paid for the Walk With Me record said, you need to do a country record, I took off to South Carolina, ran into a friend who was in the country business, and then I ran into April. And it's like it's through osmosis or being immersed in it where I'm starting to get the flavors, because I used to be able to play with you and I would noodle over you.
Right.
My way, but I'd probably step all over your vocal line.
Right.
And now I just so intently listen. I'm like, oh, this is where it goes. This is,
Right.
Now the last time I went out and played with all the guys, it was like a whole nother animal. And that's just the way my journey's been. It's, Aaron Lewis sings a song that's, they don't just play the songs, they live the songs.
Right.
And I think that's how I work. And
that's just incredible.
Live the tunes. Be it. I'm not a fake, and I don't want to be one.
Can I get you guys to do another one?
Oh, yeah.
Another
I'd love to
song?
play one.
Yeah.
Pause for the cause.
Sure.
All right, next song we're going to do is a song called Midnight Here in Carolina. Can I tell the story about it?
Sure you can.
So when I was going to say stationed, when I first moved to South Carolina to, get enveloped in the country way of writing and everything, there was no work. I was living in Columbia, South Carolina, and it was no work for me to sustain myself as a troubadour.
Right.
Just wasn't. And
there's nothing there.
And luck would have it, I landed a resort gig in Myrtle Beach. So I was there 6 days a week, and I had one day off to come home and do laundry, and I'd go back and live at the thing. So I would perform from 11 in the morning to 11 at night with a 2-hour dinner break every day. And it was hot. I was there for most of the year. But I would spend most of my time in my room working on sounds. And like I told you before, I would just look for melodies and record them. And I wrote something. Let's see. I got to do it one more time because I fluffed it up so much. So. And I love that. So I was just developing it and working on it, and I had that for a while. Then I get a call from my friend J. Mark Bailey. He was dating a girl in New Jersey and living here in North Carolina. And he called me one night, and he literally says this on the phone. He said, Walter, it's midnight here in Carolina, and I'm spending all my nights alone. And we're like, yeah, that's a song.
That's a song.
So he came over, we're talking about it, and I said, hold on. I think I got something that goes with that. And I played him. So within the next 30 minutes, we had this song pretty much charted out. Right. And then over the next week or two on Google Docs, we just got it together. And we both have a version of the song, and I love it. And it just went over really well with everybody everywhere we played.
Is it
this
the same
is the
version?
one that we played at the Carolina Country Music Awards in January.
The version, do y'all do the same version?
No, his is slightly different.
Okay,
yeah.
That's cool. I like that, though. Lyle Lovett and Robert Earl Keen have a sing song that they did together, but they don't do it the same way. So
yeah, it's just weird how it went that way. I guess, again, coming from different places in the world, we speak a different kind of a language.
True.
And but this is how the song goes. And it's funny, as I sing it, I can remember writing that line. I can remember doing, and it's just by habit. But yeah, and as we've been playing it live, you won't hear this on the recording. April developed her own she's been singing with my solos.
Yeah.
Like scatting.
Right, scatting.
And it's kind of cool. I really like it. It adds a lot to the live performance. So we've been doing it a lot. So she added this to the front of the song, and I like it, so we do it. And, yeah, I'm okay with it. Here it is. It's midnight here in Carolina, spending all my nights alone. I can't stand to think about her, makes my heart come all undone. The nights are black here without her. 6 a.m. she'll still be gone. I close my eyes and try to find her. Heaven knows I just want the refuge of her arms. Oh, but right now it's midnight here in Carolina. I know she's hugging on her pillow, way up north in her East Coast town. I should be right there beside her to kiss her face when the sun goes down. But I'm still here in Carolina. 6 a.m. and I'll be gone. I'm taking off to go and find her. I can't wait to hold her in my arms. Oh, but right now it's midnight here in Carolina. In Carolina, in Carolina, in Carolina. I'm still here in Carolina. It's 6 a.m. and now I'm gone. The road is rolling up behind me. I can't wait to hold her in my arms. So for right now, it's goodbye, Carolina.
That's absolutely fabulous.
I sang a few wrong words. My thumb is hanging out here. You know, I'm numbing the E string so it doesn't play.
Right.
And then I'm like, I heard it. I'm like, I've never done that before.
You know, it's funny. I was going to cut this. I was going to stop it there, but that part right there was worth hearing. So, yeah, I'm going to just stop it here for right. You get so used to everything being touchscreen these days. It's like, oh, yeah, got it.
So I guess my first real, song that could fit into the country vein of music, because I never really fit in to anywhere.
Right.
One of the problems through my whole career was, once I was 29 years old, I knew people like, you're my favorite entertainer. Unfortunately, you're too old.
Oh, yeah.
And I got that my entire life. And I knew people in the industry that were working with people and artists, and they would come to see me perform. And I knew, and they told me who they were.
Right.
And like, we love you. But again, you're too old. We can't. Yeah. And also, people would say, we don't really know where you fit. Mm. You're not country. You're not this. You're not that. And at the time, back then, it was like you had to conform and fit into this.
You did.
So I think my first song that I was able to write that fit into the country genre was "While the Sun Still Shines." And what happened was I was living on a farm, and I had an office with these big, huge windows from floor to ceiling. And out on the farm, it looked down over the I call it a pond. You know, it was like a 3-acre pond.
Right.
We go catch largemouth bass. And at that time, I think you had Michael Jackson died, then Prince died, and then David Bowie died. I'm like, wow, I used to love all these guys. And it was the day David Bowie died. I sat there and I looked out the window at that pond, and I go, I know I'm not trying to write David Bowie music, but I'm going to tap into the spirit of David Bowie right now. I'm going to write a song. I'm going to write a song. And it was called "While the Sun Still Shines," and it starts off, "Let's go fishing while there's still time." Because in my mind, I came to this conclusion. I was always, I got to get the bills paid. We got to do this. We got to pay the bills. We got to get, and there's no time for anything.
Sure.
And I thought, you know what? I want to start doing things that I want to do in life. I'm not going to waste any more time, because when you wait for the perfect time to do something, that time never comes.
It never comes.
It never comes. So that song came out of me pretty fast, and it was called "While the Sun Still Shines." We made a wonderful video on the lake in Lake Norman with actually a year ago, like today.
Oh.
We made the video, right?
Yeah.
Was it, or 2 years ago? It was a year ago today? Yeah, it was a year ago today. We made the video. And
Billy Hume is amazing to work with.
We had him produce the video as well.
Right.
He came out with his cameras, and Pistol Hill was there, J. Mark Bailey, and we local kids came out with all their fishing poles, and Billy brought his 2 sons, and I don't remember the age, they were very young, but they were amazing. They kept clipboards, and they did the click thing, like cut scene, and they're in the video, and you can see them in there. And I'm proud of it. I was very proud of the
3 locations.
But mostly on the lake. We did one scene from a boat. April and I are in a boat. And people would come flying by in boats to see what we were doing.
Oh, yeah.
And rock the boat. And we're like, we've fallen down. But he captured some great sunset scenes, lake scenes. We were saying earlier that I've worked with other producers. I always try to went to somebody to get good recordings. I was never happy with the recordings, 100% happy, because I felt like there was something missing. Like we were saying before, that when you do a live performance, just us and the guitar, there's an energy that comes out in the song. And it often gets lost if you go to the wrong person in a studio and record.
It does. Yeah, I agree.
Billy Hume brought that out. It was like he took what was inside me and he literally brought it out exactly. I couldn't have asked for a better person to
nail on the head.
And because one word that suits Billy, right? What's the one word he would say all the time? It's all about the vibe. Yep. And then he knew, and he got that. So
where can people see this video?
You can see it on YouTube, but what's it?
Walter
Bevo?
Finley Music.
Is it called? Yeah, YouTube. While the Sun Still Shines. Okay. Bevo, YouTube. And we're going to start putting a lot more stuff on YouTube at Walter Finley Music. And but I'm proud of it. And it's been doing really well this year. And then we have another new song we wrote for the people on the BYOB parties. And it's called "Go Jump in a Lake." And it's a really good song. What happened was with that one, I had written the hook earlier in the year. It was, "Go jump in a lake. Go climb on a mountain." And that's about all I had. And then I finished it up, and we got a call. We were invited to go to Nashville to record a song. And we ended up walking in the studio with Buddy Hyatt, Brent Mason on guitar, and they literally laid it down, and it came out really good.
Yeah, those guys can lay it down in 30 seconds. I mean, they play it one time, and it's done.
Oh, yeah. It was amazing.
I sent the cell phone recording to them.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, we charted it out, and then we sang it the next day at Buddy's house, and it came out really good. I'm really proud of that. So that's going to be released on, I believe, November 7th. Now, it's a jump in a lake. It's kind of like a summertime song, you would think, but it also mentions go climb on a mountain, go swing from a tree, take that road out of town to see where it leads. In other words, a sense of adventure and outdoorsman kind of stuff. So we're working on a video for that. I don't know when we'll have that out, but I'm going to release it in November. There'll be a pre-release next week. So it'll come out on all the mediums and Spotify. I'm hoping to have a video together by March, if I can. And I'm hoping it builds up some momentum. It went really well with all the lake parties. Mm-hmm. And
so can I get you guys to do that now?
Yeah, and it ties into the COVID situation, the lyrics, because the lyrics...
It was a big deal for families to stick together and have that sense of adventure and go do things together.
I gotta be careful, I got that bracelet on my right hand. There's so much life left in me. Had enough of virtual reality. I don't know why we work so much to live in a world where we just can't touch. It's time to break out and go see it. And go jump in a lake, climb on a mountain, go swing from a tree, take that road out of town just to see where it leads. Head out on a highway, live this life my way, see all I wanna see, and go jump in a lake. Na 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 na. Life ain't always how it should be. Everybody wants a piece of me. Don't wanna be the one to fuss. Everybody seems to be in a rush. Hell, there's anywhere I'd rather be. I wanna jump in a lake, climb on a mountain, go swing from a tree, take that road out of town just to see where it leads. Head out on a highway, live this life my way, see all I wanna see, and go jump in a lake. Na 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 na. Go jump in a lake, climb on a mountain, take that road out of town.
That's excellent.
Thanks. I left out the Brent Mason solo.
Yeah, I don't believe you need to learn to play it anyway. I don't believe you can learn to play it probably. That's great. So what else you got coming? What's the deal for the rest of the year?
Well, we're going to release that. We're going to release around the same time, I guess a couple of weeks later, is the Baby We Can Do This that you heard us do later. Right. We'll release that. We have a writing session Thursday with somebody. April has a song that she had written a while ago that a battered women's shelter wanted her to perform the song.
Right.
And she expressed to me, she goes, I didn't do it. I was too shy. I didn't want to do it. And now she wants to bring it back about.
I didn't have anyone to go with me.
Right.
So I think for a woman, and the way I grew up with backing up my brother, right. And, you know, for me, I think to shine on my own, I would have felt better had I had someone to go with me, to just be by my side, not necessarily to do anything.
You don't feel comfortable on your own, just you and a guitar?
If I'm totally alone, yes.
Oh, yeah, but in front of people, right? Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, the mood has to strike, but it was a situation to where I was invited to sing the song at an event that was to celebrate a woman who had lost her life to domestic violence. Right. And at the time, I didn't think I could get through it without crying unless I had an anchor there to center.
So you're ready to do that now that you have an anchor?
She's got such an array, not array, but a catalog of songs. And that's a problem with a songwriter, and it's an emotional thing. And you completely expose yourself and your feelings to people. And it's like, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where maybe you were hurt or there was an ambulance and everybody comes around and stares at you. That's kind of how you feel when you're
sometimes
you're writing a song, and it's hard to let everybody know what you're going through emotionally inside, especially when it's something very hard. But she has a lot of songs, and I don't think maybe she wasn't ready to put them out there, but I think she's becoming ready now.
That's good.
And so I think I'm going to try and produce some songs for her.
Good.
I think personally for me, it's about being able to help someone overcome fears like I've had to overcome my own personal fears of things in my life. And if it's a gift that I'm denying someone, or if something that I have written can actually help someone overcome something or be successful or help other people, then that's what I need to do.
This will be a fun part. Maybe I'll leave it in.
The other aspect of it is doing it. And not just dreaming about it, never having that dream fulfilled by never actually trying.
Sure.
You got to try.
You got to try.
You have a desire, you keep trying, you go for it. And win, lose, or fail, you did it.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I think that's a thing that you always have to do rather than say, yeah, I could probably have done that. Well, you find out,
A lot of times people think it's not good enough, I'll never stand up. What if people laugh at me? Who cares?
Exactly.
I got to a point in my life, I'm like, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I've seen so much, I've been through so much, it just doesn't matter.
Well, it's one of those things, you lay your heart out and you get this. How many times have you killed a song and
you're lucky if you get that
it.
sometimes.
You've known it. And they're all over there talking and you get the...
Best thing ever was when I heard Walter say one night, "Live music here, folks."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That never happened to me. I never had that problem.
Exactly.
People always erupt in
Live
applause
music
when I
here,
walk in
folks.
the room.
Yeah. I mean, it's strange how...
I wrote a song about it. It's called Big Stars in the Sky, and it's on that last record. And it's like people don't realize, you want to be a big star in the sky. You already are. You're a star in somebody's eyes.
True. That's another thing I've learned. No, this is the truth, too, if I've ever told it, which some people say I haven't. But no matter how bad your music is, there's somebody somewhere going, I love this stuff. Man, these guys are great. I love this. And I've seen that so many times. People have brought stuff to me, and it's like, I love these people. But it's so it's kind of individual.
It'd go out in the cornfield.
Find people who like your songs and hang out with them.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Birds of a feather.
And as I've learned with records and stuff I've done, locally, yeah. But then there'll be somebody in, say, Boise, Idaho, that thinks it's the greatest thing in the world, wants you to send all their stuff, and it's like, Boise, Idaho, wow.
Well, that's what happened to me. I did a show, I think I got to warm up these concerts in Manhattan in Times Square, and I was playing with, warming up for like John Waite.
Right, yeah.
And I took this song I had written so many years ago, never recorded it. I'm like, I'm going to play it on stage.
Yeah.
And I played it. It was a personal song about personal growth, and I didn't think anything of it. And it's kind of a hard song to play. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting my car out of the garage in Times Square there, and I'm surrounded like people saying, we saw you tonight. It was great. Right. And these two young men came up and like, we're from Indiana. I'm like, oh, that's nice. We love that song you wrote, Country Kitchen. I'm like, really?
That's amazing.
And I ended up recording it because those two kids said they loved it.
Those two guys liked it. That's pretty cool. I had one that actually got recorded a bunch of times. I wrote it for fun. I was going to throw it away. And a guy I played in a band with, his daughter said, I love that song. You should actually record it. And actually we wound up doing it. And some people named a band after the song. And so, I mean, you never know.
No,
you just don't. And it's hard to pick. It's also hard to pick what song's going to be big for you, because normally it's not one of the ones that you just love the death of your own. You know, it's like, yeah, God, I love this song. Why won't anybody record it? Oh, I hate that song, and somebody's recording it. You know, so it's...
I wrote a song about never feeling like you measured up in society because I play guitar for a living. Right. And I wrote, there's a story, like you meet a girl and they're like, well, what do you do?
I sent that to you this morning.
And I'm like, I stomp on pedals. And the father's like, so what do you do? I go, I stomp on pedals. And the whole song is about how I had to struggle in life because I was ashamed of what I did. And now I finally love what I do and I'm okay with it. And yet, when I made the song, I was ashamed to show anybody the song. And I didn't think anything of it. And I'm like, man, maybe it wasn't good. And nobody ever said anything. And then last year, I'm in a bar, and a young man came up, and he was 22 at the time. It was last year, and he was like, are you ever going to play Stomp on pedals? I'm like, what? You know that song? And then she had some place going nuts one night where she had these guys with their cowboy boots just stomping, and, you know.
It's weird how that works.
You don't know.
I can't. I have a hard time predicting who gets lots of listens on the podcast. There's no real rhyme or reason other than some people promote themselves better than others. I've had people that I knew would just blow it out of the park, and I had some people I would have swore to you no one would have listened to that they had tons of listens. So there's no rhyme or reason sometimes, you know. But all right, what else do you guys need to tell me?
I don't know.
Are you up for another one?
When we met each other, we met at a party.
Oh.
And we hated each other.
I don't know if I want to tell that story.
Why'd you hate him so bad?
I was at a party performing, and she kept requesting songs that I did not know, which I should have known, I guess, if I was raised around these parts. And then finally, on the third time, she's like, you know this song? I'm like, no, do you? And she goes, yes, I do. And she got up and played and took over the show. And at the end of the night, the guy's paying me. And before he got to the end of my pay...
Oh, she walks over and says...
No, she was standing there, and he's paying me. And before he paid me the rest of what he owed me...
Right.
He started paying her.
Not the way it happened.
And he goes, she earned it. I was like, I don't care. I was contracted to make this much money.
Right.
You know, and then her and a boyfriend would come and see me play every once in a while. And, you know. No, what? That's what happened.
That was pretty funny, really. So
I don't like people taking my paycheck.
I've never had that happen to me. I mean, so that's a pretty novel story there. I'm glad you shared that one. That's a good one. Well, I do appreciate y'all coming to do this.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
You have a very entertaining story, and I look forward to people being able to see you live as opposed to videos and records, and hopefully that will not be much longer.
Oh, your lips to God's ears.
Yeah, well, we hope we can get you back too for the Big Sound Small Town TV, where the two of you guys can perform.
Would love to.
So it's a pretty fun deal too. All right, again, I thank both of you so much.
Thank you.
So good to meet you.
Go, thanks. Yep.
Good. We were talking about the COVID-19 situation and how we did our BYOB, Bring Your Own Boat concerts on our dock. And that came about because April and I were stuck in our house, going on 2 months. And I had been working on this melody for so long. I'm like a melody chaser on the guitar. And I just find pretty melodies and then I try to build a song around that. And I had this riff that I'm playing. And then we had these friends that were really cool. They would follow us, right? And this guy in particular followed us on January 25th to Myrtle Beach for the Carolina Country Music Awards. We were asked to sing on it. Mm-hmm. And people stayed 7 hours to watch us sing one song. Mm-hmm. And we just struck up this great friendship. So in the midst of this, we were just spending a lot of time at home, and I would collect melodies, collect ideas, and we just keeping the house clean, just biding our time, basically. There was no shows to do, and so completely out of work. And this one gentleman called out of nowhere, and he goes, "We were hanging around talking about you." And I'm on the phone, he's telling me this, and he goes, "And we all thought that you should write a song about what's going on right now." And I hung up the phone, and I had started recording it already on my my computer in the office. And I put it on, I walked out to April, and I went, "Baby, we can do this, do this. We're gonna get through this, Baby, we can do this." And I'm walking away, and when I spun around to look at her, she was weeping from the music and me singing it, because just the emotion came out. And pretty much put the song together right then and there. And I love the song. I think it's great. I never really produced fully my own music. I go to other producers, as we were talking about earlier. And I had sent it to Billy Hume, who had just produced the last record of While the Sun Still Shines. And he shot back, "Congratulations. You did a great job on this. This is better than other producers send me all the time." He goes, "This is real." And he added a little, I wanted dobro. I didn't know how to play the dobro. I didn't know any dobro players. So Billy actually tried to emulate it on his guitar, a little dobro intro, which was the... And he went... And that was it. And then I sent it to J. Mark Bailey over there. He mastered it for us, and we finished the song, and it was great. So now that started my whole journey on. Now I'm home producing songs. I just finished a song for the Dove House Charities, which is going to be on October 17th this weekend. Michael Israel's going to paint to a song I produced really cool. For Jack Grossman, who wrote this song, While Angels Cry. And I can't wait to see that.
That's really cool. And
now we're getting ready to, we have a bunch of songs we can't wait to start recording and bring out. Anyway, this is the song we wrote that started off that BYOB concert, and then hopefully you'll give me a chance. I'm going to play a song I actually wrote for the people that were coming out to the Bring Your Own Boat parties, because we played every Wednesday from 6 to 8 and started getting to a point where we had 38, 48, 58 boats in front of us.
Tell the listeners where this is at.
This was on Lake Norman. In
Denver, North Carolina,
Lake Norman, yeah.
Sunset Cove.
And it was just overwhelming. One day we're playing, because it's just the two of us, and I'm singing, and I'm always concentrating on getting my melody right, strumming right, trying to get my volumes right. And April's, performing, because she's an amazing performer and singing. And I just happen to look out. I'm just looking around across the lake, and you can't see. It's just boats, 4 boats tied up, 3 boats tied up, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, what? How did this happen? How did this happen? And just from playing it was amazing. And the people were so wonderful. They would come up and say, "Please don't stop. You're giving us something to do. There's nothing to do anymore." And
we had helicopters swing by.
We had the helicopter would come by every Wednesday.
The margarita boat came.
I saw you on WBT one night. They flew over and you guys were playing.
On what?
On WBT channel. Probably 3.
I didn't know about that.
I didn't know about it either. I'd love to see that.
It was, I think it was on the weather, it was just one of those things that, you see what's going on Lake Norman here tonight, and there you guys were.
Oh,
that's
my
awesome.
God, I had no idea. We didn't know.
It's just one of those things that happens, but you guys had the coolest gig of the COVID time.
Thank you so much.
And you did a good job of sharing it too. So, congratulations with that.
Oh God, thank you. We prayed and prayed that we could, help folks and make a difference somehow.
I couldn't have done this without April. And that's in the song, Getting Through This, because a long time ago I had a meeting with a very influential person up in New York, and he's like, do you want money? You want me to give you money? I've helped musicians. I go, no, I don't want your money. He goes, well, what do you want? I go, I want to know the secret. And you know what the guy told me? He said, if you have 2 people, you have a team, and you can do things. And he goes, and if you have 3 people, you have an empire, and nobody can beat you. And so here's my team. This is us.
There you go.
Yeah.
So are we looking for the third person for the Empire?
Yeah, we're interviewing you right now. So this song is, April has a way of, now you have to remember, I'm just such a, I don't know how to call me.
You're a New Yorker.
No, but I'm like a gypsy, kind of a solo entity all on myself, and that's the way I like to be.
Troubadour, maybe?
Yeah, for the real. And to have April always look at me and go, we're going to get through this, you know that. Yeah, we're going to get through this. That's what she kept saying every time she'd see me moping around or, pacing around the house. And that's how the song came about, so you'll hear it. So I'm not used to sitting down. Let's see how well this goes. And these times are riddled with times so hard. Everyone's been shaken, afraid to leave their yards. And I have to tell you that I feel it too. I don't know where I'd be without you. And I know we're all in this thing together. Some holding on for dear life. But baby, we can do this, do this. We're gonna get through this, Baby, we can do this. It's gonna be alright. Feels like forever. My life's been upside down. Praying for some sunny weather to turn this ship around. When I get to feeling I'm gonna lose my mind, when I realize how everybody's stuck inside, then you whisper, babe, it's gonna be alright. Baby, we can do this, we're gonna get through this, Baby, we can do this, it's gonna be alright. Baby, we can do this, we're gonna get through this, Baby, we can do this, you and I. It's gonna take a lot of faith and a whole lot of love. Let's show this world just what we're made of. Baby, we can do this, we're gonna get through this, Baby, we can do this, it's gonna be alright. Baby, we can do this, we're gonna get through this, Baby, we can do this, you and I.
That's just excellent.
Thank you.
You guys do sing very well together.
Thank you.
It's a pretty good match. We're going to take a short break here.